Who's got more pressure? The Rams, who jettisoned Jared Goff, mortgaged everything to get Matt Stafford, or the shaky Seahawks situation? Who's got more pressure this year?
I think it's we're talking about the AFC West. I mean the NFC West, which is good. Mm-hmm. You got to think it's the Rams. You have to, and the reason is you got a quarterback who a lot of people around the league. I mean, he's a nice guy. People like him. He's been there, stuck in Detroit. Only been in 3 playoff games, and they've lost all 3 in his career. He's put up big numbers every year. He's a close to 5,000 yard passer.
Tough.
And tough, and he's this, and don't question his heart. All of the things that they want you to believe Matthew Stafford is. So the Rams, they get him because clearly he has some ability. Mm-hmm. Now he has all the talent. He has a Super Bowl appearing head coach who was this darling of a head coach a couple years ago. If you just stood next to him, you got hired. And so
it's true.
They traded away their first-round pick overall, plus a bunch of other stuff, to get rid of Jared Goff that they gave all this money to get Matthew Stafford. With a defense that was one of the top 2 or 3 defenses in the National Football League a year ago. Yep. Now, with that being said, Raheem Morris comes over from Atlanta to take over the defense. They lose their defensive coordinator, who's now in the LA Chargers. They lose a couple other coaches on that staff on the defensive side of the ball. There's a lot of pressure because you've given up a lot to get this quarterback. Mm-hmm. And if people are correct about what Matthew Stafford really is, then the Rams ought to be winning the Super Bowl next year. Because everyone said the reason the Rams didn't win the Super Bowl or get to the Super Bowl was number 16. Right. He was the problem, Jared Goff. He was the problem. They didn't say the offensive line is older. They didn't say the running back game is this, that, the receiver. They said the quarterback. So that was the one guy you went out there and got.
Interesting. Now, Key, I get where you're coming from in terms of the expectations, there being more pressure on Matt Stafford. Because let's face it, when you look at the overall team, the Rams are a better overall team than the Seattle Seahawks. But the one thing that I will say about Russell Wilson coming into this season, what he did earlier in this offseason with throwing his offensive line under the bus and bringing into question some of the decisions that the organization has made, whether or not they've surrounded him with the right supporting cast to take full advantage of him being an elite quarterback, I think that's going to put Russell Wilson under a microscope. People are going to be paying attention to how he performs because you can't come out and criticize your team for not doing certain things and not valuing your input if you're not going out there and producing at a high level. So Russell Wilson, there'll be a lot of eyeballs on him. This was a team that won the division last year. People are still going to be expecting the Seattle Seahawks to be right there in that conversation in 2021.
I don't think it's pressure on him at all because he's not going anywhere. He didn't leave another team to come to Seattle. Seattle is his team. He's taken him to 2 Super Bowls. So he has the right to criticize the organization and say whatever the hell he wants to say because he's right to a degree. They've got to address the offensive line. He's got to get rid of the football. Okay, he holds on to it way too long. There's some issues on both sides, but he's not going anywhere. They went out and gave away everything to go get Matthew Stafford when Jared Goff has taken him to the playoffs, taken him to the Super Bowl, done some great things for the Rams, but it wasn't good enough. So now the pressure's on Sean McVay along with Matthew Stafford and Les Snead. Because think about this Rams window. Okay. Think about the window. That window ain't getting ready to just keep staying open. Right. 49ers are going to get better. Seattle's going to get better. New Orleans is going to get better. Arizona is getting better. Mm-hmm. And then you got the top defensive player in all of the National Football League in Aaron Donald. Mm-hmm. At some point in time, Aaron Donald ain't going to be Aaron Donald. So you got to cash in on that right now, today, because Aaron Donald's going to get frustrated too, because essentially he is a quarterback on the defensive side of the ball. His value is quarterback value. And if you keep putting me in situations where I'm not winning the Super Bowl and going to Super Bowl, I mean, I got to get out of here.
Here's the thing I'll say about that Russell Wilson situation, and I know you're saying that Russ isn't going anywhere, but the last couple of off seasons, there's been a lot of smoke around the relationship between Russ and the organization. And the fact that the Seattle Seahawks didn't come out and shut down all of the trade speculation. The fact that it was floated out there that the Chicago Bears and the Seahawks had some communication and discussed what it would potentially take in order to put together a Russell Wilson deal.
You wouldn't be smart not to listen, though, can't you?
No, I'm not saying you wouldn't be smart not to listen, but name me the team that feels like they have a franchise quarterback that is going to listen to trade offers for said quarterback. It don't happen in the NFL.
Well,
Keith.
if I can get another franchise quarterback and something else to go with what we want to do, I'm going to listen.
Key, if I got an elite quarterback, I'm not trading him.
Yeah,
if I got a guy that's a top 3 or 4
elite
player at that position, I'm not trading him.
Elite to who, though? That's how you got to look at it. Because Pete Carroll and that staff up there and General Manager Snyder is saying to themselves, we like Russell Wilson, and we think Russell Wilson is good. Y'all might think he's great. We think he's good because it's our system, and we understand what we do. That's why when we threw the ball 50 times a game and he started turning it over, guess what we decided to do to get back on track? Trade for defensive players and run the football to get back on track because we couldn't allow him to keep giving the football to the other team.
No question about it. I think it might be a trick question. As Key said, the question was Stafford or Wilson, but I think the answer actually might be McVay. And to Chris's point, the Rams aren't going to be able to reload because they haven't made a first-round pick since Jared Goff, as you told us yesterday.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN Plus right now.